Hello everyone, I'm Autobot Sonic the Telltale Gamer, bringing you something Telltale Games, Transformers, and more. So wow, I did not expect, again, Skoybound keeps surprising us with these announcements. So earlier today, Skoybound Games updated the announced that The Walking Dead The Final Season will be also available on PC via the Epic Games Store. Now, for those who don't know, Epic Games, the creators of Fortnite, have announced that they're getting into the PC selling system business as well, in which they're creating their own version of Steam called the Epic Games Store. So currently, a lot of games are being put on the Epic Games Store, and the first one of them is The Walking Dead The Final Season. Now, on the Epic Games Store's official page for The Walking Dead The Final Season, we have a bunch of new screenshots from The Walking Dead The Final Season Episode 3 Broken Toys. Along with this, Skoybound Games also released a short little YouTube Q&A with Melissa Hutcherson, aka the voice of Clementine, in which she answered a bunch of questions regarding The Walking Dead The Final Season moving forward. Specifically, that the choice stats for episode 2 will be coming at least sometime before the episode 3 is released, and secondly, that the Steam version of the final season will be back up before episode 3 is released. So that's good for any of you who bought the final season on PC, as well as a couple other questions that I'll leave a link to the video description below if you want to go watch us. But for this video, we're going to be dissecting. We've gotten about, let's see, we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 12 screenshots to go over for The Walking Dead The Final Season Episode 3 Broken Toys. So kick back, just grab a little snack, and we're gonna go over each and every of these screenshots and see what we can analyze from them. The first screenshot, and arguably one of the most important ones that in this little screenshot batch, is of Lewis, Clementine, Ruby, Willie, and 10 out on the courtyard of the Erickson school. We see Willie angry looking at 10. Looks like Willie just pushed 10 down. You can see Mitch's dead body actually under Willie. So it seems as though perhaps maybe Willie is mad at 10 because he thinks maybe 10's the reason why Mitch is dead, because if it wasn't for 10 falling for Lily's bluff about taking him to go see his sister Minerva, maybe Mitch wouldn't have jumped out to try and save 10, and therefore Lily wouldn't have killed him and he'd still be alive. So obviously that could be a reason for why Willie is angry at 10. We've seen Willie get easily pissed off earlier. We saw this back in episode 2 when he punched a sim after he insulted his log trap. So and also, for those who don't know, Skoybound Games held an AMA a couple months ago in which they said that episode 3 will feature a scene where we'll learn the backstories of nearly all of the remaining students at the Erickson school community. So we'll learn how they ended up getting into the school and like why they are troubled youths essentially. So maybe this will that scene will shed more light on this situation. The next screenshot we have is of Clementine approaching Violet in what looks like the headmaster's office at the Erickson school. We see Violet here curled up in the corner all by herself, and Clementine just kneels down next to her. I assume this is what happens if you chose to save Violet at the end of episode 2. So it looks like maybe after Lily takes Lewis, Sim, and Omar, Violet's feeling pretty guilty that she let all this happen, that she let Lewis and everyone get kidnapped and let Mitch die, and Clementine is here to comfort her. Maybe this scene will play out differently if you decide to romance her like I did in my game. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm really looking forward to see if this is a cool little Violetine scene, and maybe if there's a specific version of the scene that happens, maybe you chose to save Lewis and romance him instead of Violet. Our next screenshot is of Clementine apparently looking at someone or something outside the Erickson school, like in the courtyard. Behind her, we see Ruby with a shovel in the same grave area where like Marlon and Brody are buried. Looks like maybe she's most likely digging Mitch's grave. So not much we can tell from this screenshot, though, other fact that looks like they're getting ready to bury Mitch. Maybe we'll start episode 3 off with a funeral for Mitch, kind of like how we started episode 2 with a funeral for Marlon and Brody. Who knows? Our next screenshot is a very, very interesting one, and one I'm glad to see. It is of Clementine and James out in the woods. James is looking really like he looks really scared or surprised, and we see him holding his arm in pain as if he was shot or something. Now, the last time we saw James was about halfway through episode 2, in which after he got Clementine and AJ back to the Erickson school, and Willie nearly kills him, thinking that he's a walker because he's wearing the walker skin. James just decides to head back out into the woods and live by himself because he doesn't think that the Erickson school's community is ready to accept him yet, because he's a whisperer and like his ways would be weird to them. But I'm glad to see that James is back. Perhaps maybe the reason why James is injured is perhaps maybe Clementine was just out, and then James finds her and tells him that maybe he saw Lily in group and he got shot when, like, trying to run away from them. Who knows, but I'm glad we see more of James, and hopefully he'll play a bigger part in this episode. Our next screenshot is of Clementine, 10, Willie, AJ, and Ruby at nighttime out in the woods. We see them, what looks to be like a river in the background behind all of them, which is, if you look back to the key art for episode 3, or the thumbnail for episode 3 that's in the game right now, it's of Clementine and AJ standing on the edge of a river. So it could be possible that the reason that nighttime and Clementine is talking to everyone here is perhaps maybe because she's planning their attack on Lily's community to go get Lewis or Violet, as well as Sim and Omar back. We see while everyone's looking pretty determined, ready to go get them back, 10 is still looking really kind of down. Maybe he still feels bad about Willie being angry at him for getting Mitch killed. Maybe, because if you remember back in when the Walking Dead Final season was first announced at PAX earlier this year, Telltale said that episodes 3 and 4 would be heavily focused on 10, which would finally learn where he got his scars from. So hope maybe there'll be something that having to do with 10 that will happen in this scene, so who knows. Now, this time we've got 2 screenshots to analyze. These 2 screenshots are of Clementine and AJ. Looks like they're interrogating / torturing Abel inside the basement of the Erickson school. We can tell this is the basement as you see in this one screenshot of Clementine and AJ just by themselves. You can see various pipework and shelves behind them. It's very reminiscent of the basement as it appeared at the end of episode 1. And then in the second screenshot here, we have Clementine and AJ just looking at Abel strapped up in this desk with his hands tied behind his back. So obviously this basically is what I thought was going to happen at the end of episode 2, in which we'll be basically torturing Abel for information as to where Lily's group is and where she took Lewis / Violet, as well as Omar and Asim. Now, this scene was actually confirmed a couple weeks ago by one of the members of the Still Not Bitten team, in which they said that there will be a conversation, as they put it, with Abel, and it's up to the player as Clementine to determine how violent that conversation gets. So immediately I'm getting flashbacks to the end of The Walking Dead Michonne episode 2, when Michonne tortures Randall for information on Norma and the rest of her group, and that they're coming to take her, to kill her and Sam and everyone. It looks very similar to that. I feel like we may have the option of killing Abel in the scene. And I think whether or not you let AJ give dibs to kill Abel in the scene, I think that will come into play here. Like, maybe if you didn't give AJ dibs, you'll have the option to kill Abel or not, and then maybe if you let AJ have dibs, he'll be like, oh, Clem, you gave me dibs on killing Abel, so now can I kill Abel now? And then you'll have the option of either letting him kill Abel or saying no, and then he'll just be really pissed at you, probably. So we'll have to wait and see what we can expect him to see. In this scene, I'm expecting this is what the start of episode 3 will be, and I'm really looking forward to this scene. The next screenshot we have is of Clementine and AJ sitting on this rock out in the woods, I assume outside the Erickson school. We don't know what's happening. I assume maybe Clementine and AJ are out on some scouting mission, maybe just to get supplies, or even just look for any leads on where Lily took Lewis / Violet and the rest of the kids. I think this scene may come before the scene where we saw Clem with James, who may have gotten shot or injured. It's the way Clementine and AJ are just sitting on this rock talking, I feel like we'll have a big moment between Clementine and AJ here, very similarly to the start of episode 2, when we talked with AJ about whether or not it was right that he killed Marlon at the end of episode 1. So I'm really looking forward to see what exactly Clementine and AJ are talking about in this scene. Once again, our next screenshot is another look at the scene we saw in the episode 3 teaser trailer, and that is of AJ with blood on the right side of his face, aiming his fingers like a gun at presumably Lily and going bang. We still don't know anything about this scene other than the fact that it's an entirely new environment that we've never seen before. So what exactly does this mean? Like, why is AJ doing this? Is he making like a threat to kill Lily? Why is his face covered in blood? We'll have to wait and see. Now moving on to our second last screenshot, which one I am really surprised about, is of Clementine hugging Lewis in the night as they seem to see some sort of flashlight or some light at least shining behind them. Now, I feel like this scene may take place at the same time as the scene we saw earlier of Clementine with everyone getting in the forest at night next to River. Maybe this is when they're going to break I assume in this screenshot, this is if you saved Lewis at the end of episode 2 instead of Violet. So maybe when Lewis and the rest of the group are going to go save Violet Asim and Omar. Maybe this scene will happen if you romanced Lewis. Maybe like they just decide to have one nice moment before they decide to head and break into Lily's group and rescue Violet and everyone. And I think this is just a really cute scene. I mean, honestly, I ship Violet with Clem more than I ship her with Lewis, but honestly, like, Lewis is a pure ship too, and I respect anyone that is a Lewis shipper. I don't discriminate, so glad to see all you Lewis shippers getting representation here. And now for our final screenshot, which I personally is one of my favorite screenshots here. We have Lily with Clem in the same place that looks like AJ was giving the finger guns to Lily in the episode 3 teaser trailer. And it's of her sitting down in his chair, standing in front of Clementine, who's in the foreground of the shot, and we see Lily armed with a pistol. This scene looks it reminds me a lot of in season 2 when Clementine and Carver talk inside Carver's office. I feel like at this point maybe Clementine and her group get captured by Lily. They end up getting taken in. Maybe Lily and AJ, or not Lily and AJ, Clementine and AJ get taken to Lily specifically, and she decides to interrogate them, or maybe just try to convince them that, like, hey, what we're doing here is right. You guys shouldn't be afraid of us. Like, the people were, because you don't remember, the reason why Lily is kidnapping, like, all of these kids is because she's making them fight in this war they're going on with another community. So maybe Lily will explain to what's going on with Clem in this scenario. Maybe we'll even get more interactions between Lily and Clem as to what, like, based on your previous choices in season 1, maybe she may bring up whether or not Lee helped kill Larry with Kenny back in episode 2 of season 1, or maybe if we did see in episode 2 that Lily remarks whether or not you left Lily at the halfway through episode 3, but maybe we'll see more connection, more like Lily will talk more about Lee and Kenny and the rest of the group after this. Maybe I think it'd be pretty cool if, like, she brought up Kenny as she wants to know Clem, like, what happened to Kenny, and maybe Clem will say either, oh, I left him at Wellington if you got the Wellington ending, I killed him if you got the if you chose to kill him at the end of season 2, or even we were together for a while but then he died if you got the Kenny ending in season 2. I really want to see what Lily's thoughts on Kenny are, because they hated each other back in season 1, and so I really want to see if Lily mentions Kenny at all in the final season. But otherwise, I am really, really looking forward to this scene. And so that was my analysis of these batch of screenshots from The Walking Dead The Final Season Episode 3 Broken Toys. As Skoybound Games has said, we can expect Episode 3 to be released on January 15th, 2019 for Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Switch, with the PC version being available on both Steam and the Epic Game Store. So are you guys excited once again for we are nearly about 3 weeks away from the release of episode 3. Are you guys excited as I am? If you are, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.